Just gonna show you guys some video from the road trip itself. We were kind of crazy because we drove up there from Los Angeles very last minute, but it was a phenomenal experience. A few minutes maybe of Mark speaking of Silent Mike. Silent Mike, by the way, is
not quiet.
He is not quiet, although now we know the story behind that.
Yeah.
And he's a phenomenal coach.
Awesome.
Great guy, very down to earth actually, very energetic. And Omar Isuf is
very
phenomenal.
cool. Yeah, very cool. It was good to meet Omar. He's awesome.
Omar, thank you very much for putting that together.
One, 3, 4. One, 4. Good time to do it now.
That's not nice. Is that what they call them?
My parents are over there, by the way. Rosemary and Sheldon Bell. Is you always want to try to organize your body. Where you line up on the bar is going to be heavily dictated on your mobility. What we're going to do from the top is I like to teach people to bend straight from the hips, hinge from the hips. When he retracts his shoulder blades a little bit, you'll notice his chest comes up.
Good. Good. First pull, your hips were just really high, which isn't bad. It's more of a stiff leg. You want to kind of get your hips lower, kind of get your quads involved off the ground, and then finish it. And your knees are going to get in the way. Once you get to a heavy weight, you start squatting it. So you got to learn how to dig into your hands. I got to sit back and down. Now I'm activating my hands and pull. So all we're trying to do is keep that bar as tight to us as we can and get ourselves as tight as we can. If you unrack a squat, you're automatically going to get tight. Yes, good. Put your ribs down just a little bit so you don't like to slap and tighten up. Good. Good. Keep that weight close to your body. Close to your body. Good. Good. Alright, so same thing. Start from the top. You can get your line up, get it a little bit. Toes out just a little bit. Good. You can hand over. Hips. Now tag your neck. Push your knees out. Hips down and back. Good. I'm almost teeter-tottering my upper body up, my hips back. Yeah, I'm not just dropping my hips. That's a squat. I'm trying to pull my chest. Fuck out of here. You know what? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Omar, you cheap sensation, get out. Pretty good. We clog kitties. We would get that. Right there. No. Hips up. Right about there. Good. Hips don't lie. They're going to do whatever they want. Honestly. This is something. Walk the way up. Their hips are going here before the bar. Mine goes to start. Okay. Reach it. There you go. Hands out just a little bit. Good. Remember to point those toes out a little bit. We got to get those knees out there. There we go. There you go. Force those knees out. Get your hips. Pull the ribs down. Good. Good. That's real good. Knees out. Good job. Knees out. How about it? Good. a little bit. Hey, the music's going on now. Shut your mouth. There you go. That dance continues.
Too easy.
Stay with it, stay with it.
You still have a comfort zone to go to. And that comfort zone is just simply making things routine. Most of the world records and the really, really big lifts are done with a low bar. Because we're getting our stomach tight before we move anywhere. And then from here, we're going to start to squat. We're going to bend the knees, and we're going to force the knees out at the same time.
Yeah, it's like very similar. Something like, why should you like the whole thing? Shit. And then I saw, yeah, so I totally remembered.
You gotta ease into it. You can't just
Slowly.
yeah.
Just slowly.
You can't just plow in like an amateur.
You could.
Like you're rubbing your hands because you have oil in your hands, and I'm just rubbing my hands because I feel weird that I'm not doing it. I don't know if like my cat bit me and it's just a little pussy.
A little pussy.
Yeah, so-
Pussy from the pussy.
Wiped out of my pants.
I'm gonna try not to do the spear hand thing like the whole time.
Spear hand.
It's really hand.
If you do it, then I'm gonna do it. Or we could do
do this.
you ever now you look?
Why is that so funny? I think it's just
It doesn't
so
even look
juvenile.
that much like a
No,
vagina. It looks like an orifice.
Stop doing that. It
I
doesn't
guess-
look like a vagina.
You're just like trying to. You don't get to see a lot of orifices as a child.
You're just constantly looking for orifices.
Yeah.
I know. I'm a boy.
You're like
That's all I was looking for
like
as a child.
close enough. A couple of folds of skin. That's all we really need. You know.
Hey, be a friend. Let me use your hand. That's terrible. Spear hand.
Spear hand.
What's up, guys? Mark here from My Primal Being with,
This is Kyle from Mobility Moment.
and we're here to do a special edition of, I guess you could say, a lessons learned, because we just, well, not recently, but last week we came from
Sacramento at the SuperTraining Gym.
with Mark Smelly Bell, Silent Mike, and Omar Isuf, aka Omar Isuf.
I like Omar Isuf the chain.
That sounds good.
It's pretty bad.
That sounds legit.
I'm just gonna try to make that a hashtag.
Is that?
See if he.
Does that exist?
I invented it just now.
We're going with that one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's very positive and affirmative.
Because he's pretty off the chain.
Yeah, he is. But anyways, we just wanted to go over some lessons learned from our experience up there, which was just absolutely amazing. This is
awesome.
kind of the extended special edition.
Sort of a road vlog plus what we learned wrap up thing.
Yeah. And it applies to both My Primal Being and
My mom.
yeah, totally. So
Yeah.
really, like, I want to put sort of the focus on Kyle because he had some really solid points that I'd like for you guys to hear. And I'm constantly talking on this channel anyways, so I'm going to shine the light.
You're just constantly talking
I'm
anyways.
just constantly talking because I
Yeah.
don't shut up.
Yeah, I'm the quiet one.
Yeah, my girlfriend thinks it's a Filipino thing. It's my family. But he really is the spine and brains of this operation, I feel. Like,
somehow.
every day I feel like I want to hug and kiss him because otherwise this would be a piece of shit.
I don't see it.
You said you have 2 major lessons that you wanted to go over.
Yeah, I learned a lot while I was up there. I reworked my deadlift form. I'm changing my squat form as well. Not big changes, but little changes. But the 2 main things that I learned were a couple of broad concepts. And the first one was not to worry so much about your programming, not to beat yourself up if you can't stick to some complicated 6-week program with like a unilateral plyometric deload week, you know, like it doesn't have to be that complicated. Consistency, especially in the beginning, is the most important part. And for a while I had wavered between like having no program whatsoever and then trying to put together some complicated 6-week thing and then never sticking to it. And I was kind of upset about it, and it's just like, I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy who has that complicated system, and I don't need to, and I don't have to beat myself up over it either. So if you're worried that you can't stick to some complicated system, you don't have to. Pick a simple system and stick with it, and that's the most important thing. The second thing was to vary my training, which I know is going to sound kind of contradictory. But I have a simple system, but the variations that I'm going to do is more like undulation as far as periodization goes. Different versions of the same movements. So switching from standard deadlift to a sumo deadlift. Switching from a ass to grass squat or an Olympic style hybrid squat to a powerlifting squat. Going from front squats to back squats. Switching up your rep scheme a little bit here and there. Doing Romanian deadlifts. I'm kind of going on. But different versions of the same exercises instead of adding in complicated accessory work, just switching out the types and the ranges of motion of the lifts you're already doing instead of making it all complicated. Those were kind of the two big points. Don't worry too much about your programming, and make sure to mix up the ranges of motion that you're working from, even among the same exercises.
Yeah, and that's really solid. And I think the bridge I sort of want to build to connect those 2 points is sort of the lesson that I learned, and that I've had a lot of people say that I'm kind of intense or I'm crazy because I'm super committed to the physical training side of the world because I like movement and I like developing strength. So in this respect, it's that level of crazy commitment that allows me to sort of play around with daily undulating periodization, which basically to me is kind of, and I could be completely wrong and off topic here, it's just a way of varying up the loads and the movements that you do on any given daily basis. And what that is you're just looking for ways to play around and skin the different movements that you're doing. So like you said, it's not always doing the same conventional deadlifts. It's playing with mixed grips, which is going to be a big deal for me because I've always been like an overhand sort of traditional guy.
Hook grip.
Or maybe like a hook grip sort of guy. So mixing it up so that instead of just working the deadlift itself, maybe you do something on a fat bar, you do like an overhand grip or a mixed grip with just a conventional grip so that you actually develop grip strength. That's a lot of grips. So that you're developing strength all around. You're not always going to be PRing with the biggest weight every single day, but
Heaviest deadlift with a hook grip, heaviest deadlift with a mixed grip.
yeah, and actually big props to Kyle because when we went up there, he was able to pull 315 for one. That was a PR actually while he was up there. Mark, I wish you would have seen it. It was beautiful. Big thanks to you for helping him out with some cues, and you told him to mix up his grips. And I feel like you kind of did that with some reluctance because we've been following.
Yeah, I didn't. He was like, "You ever done a mixed grip?" And I was like, "No, I've always done hook." And he was like, "Try a mixed grip." And I was like, "Well, which hand do I turn over?" And he was like, "I don't care." And I was like, "Okay." And so I tried that, and I failed the lift in front of him. He was like, "This is a good effort, though." You know, he made me feel okay
Show
about
that
it.
to you guys on video.
And then as everyone walked away, I took a little breather and I went back and I really focused on the cues that he gave me, and I was able to lift it and hit that PR.
Yeah. So with the first point is that, you know, if you're a beginner, definitely if you need a structure, go ahead and find a structure that you can follow and stick to that structure. But the other important point is that if you can find somebody to mentor you, and you can do it on a distance now because you can have people video you, do that. Basically play around. Not always be so strict about developing your strength. And if you happen to have a goal, go and find somebody that's going to get you to that goal. But if you're just a generalist and you're not like a power lifter, or maybe if you're a bodybuilder, if you're just like broad goals, it's probably best to just try anything and everything under the sun. I think it was Mark Bell that quoted Louis Simmons and said that if you happen to be in a yard that's got a whole bunch of rocks, and under one of those rocks is $1 million, you can turn over every damn rock to find that $1 million, and you don't know what's going to work for your specific style. But basically, what I'm trying to say is do it consistently. Not in it, if it doesn't fit into your schedule to do it on a daily basis, do it as much as you can. Play around with it. If you happen to be at the office and you just want to do different variations of like a bench press, if you want to do different variations of a squat, just try different things out so that you can mix up the loads and get your body acquainted with different loads and different movements to ultimately feed into what your greater goal happens to be. Well, that's everything that I got. Do you have anything else to add?
No, that's it.
Credit to Mark, of course. It was his facility, which is
Yeah.
phenomenal. You guys have really taught us actually, a whole different approach to training and really getting out there and being willing to share the information. And it's about putting great material and content out there
And building a stronger world.
a stronger world.
Yeah.
That's probably the best thing about that. And we felt really at home. We didn't want to leave, but we had to take the drive. So thank you very much for having us in your facility, and for the awesome shirts. If you have anything else to add,
SuperTraining.tv, check it out.
you guys check it out, and check out the POWERCAST by Mark Bell.
They talk a lot about buttholes.
Yeah, they do.
Just fair warning, it's hilarious. It's
Absolutely.
a good podcast.
Jimmy McDonald
Yeah.
is an amazing guy. He put together an amazing podcast and an amazing YouTube show. You guys need to check it out. If you guys like to just, if you guys like your content sandwiched in between about 45 to 50 minutes of just BS and it's like hanging out with your friends, basically. Go ahead and check them out on the POWERCAST. Go ahead and check them out on SuperTraining.tv. And for my primal being, this is Mark.
And this is Kyle from Mobility Moment.
And peace out, guys.
See you.